Okay.
Okay, so we are at the Easton Library meeting for January 25th, 2021 on Zoom. And present we have Linda Borden, Mary Jane Kana, Peter Reed, Patricia McPhee, and Jennifer DiCarlo, our director. Did I miss anyone, Jennifer?
No, you have everyone.
Okay, so Jennifer, since you can see, is there any public joining us tonight that might have any comments?
No.
Okay, so having no public present, we will skip our public comment section. For addition to the agenda, I realize that we need to add our annual meeting to the new business section. We need to discuss that, and I neglected to put that on the agenda for today. So we'll add that down with new business. We have received the minutes from the previous meeting. We have had a correction from the first mailing of them to the trustees, which was just the addition of Greenwich, changed from the word green. So if everybody has had a chance to look over our minutes, can I have a motion to accept the minutes from the previous meeting?
This is Peter. I make a motion we accept the minutes as provided.
I'll second that. Patricia.
Okay. And we also received a year-end financial report from our treasurer. Peter, would you like to comment on that?
Well, the only thing I have to say is that even though we're a nonprofit organization, we've got excess funds because our expenses were less than our income. Our income stayed pretty stable from last year, but because of COVID, and the closing down, we've had less expenses. So Jennifer hasn't been doing her job, spending enough money. That's all I can say.
Well,
so anyway.
So,
I know.
So, of course, we hopefully will return to our normal mode of life in the near future, and we will need those funds as we usually have in the past. So, is there somebody anyone else have any questions?
I have a question. This is Mary Jane speaking. It's unusual for this to happen, and I wonder, since it did, should we put some, should we take this opportunity to put some in our capital expense fund, which we need to build?
We did that last year. Last year we had excess funds. Last year we had at the end of 2019, we have excess funds of 19,000. This year it's up to 25,000, but actually we're getting more money in between Greenwood Central School and the town of Easton than we're spending. Suggestion I put out there was Linda had mentioned maybe doing some more work on the library, such maybe putting new carpet down. We've got enough funds that should be good. As for putting more in the capital fund, right now the capital fund has $30,000 in it. So
this is Mary Jane again. I just view the capital fund as a place for those types of expenses. Like if we need a new carpet and need things. So anything in that direction is just what I'm saying. Let's make sure that we have money that we can put to good use to make needed improvements on the library. So when I saw that, I thought that's a place where we could store it. But if we can use it this year, I think we should use it for carpeting for sure. And even for things like there's other things I'm sure that we could find, right, Jennifer, to spend money on, needed repairs and window washing and all those good things.
Yeah, we could do that. Yes, absolutely.
And probably a good time with less traffic too, to get them done.
Also, it was mentioned a ramp need to be upgraded possibly, so.
Yeah,
Well, this goes back to the long-range plan that we just adopted for this next 5-year period. One of the components of the long-range plan was to have an evaluation of the library done for upkeep needs or construction needs. And in there, it calls for a evaluation and suggestion by a library specialist about what we would do. Would they advise that we make better utilization of the space of the library coming into the modern time period, where we have computers? When this library was designed, we didn't have computers. So, you know, money for capital improvements would go very nicely into that 5-year plan. It's not something I think we want to jump into piecemeal. I'd like to follow that plan and have some evaluation made. For example, if we just put in a carpet at this point and then we had someone say, well, you know, maybe you should rearrange the stacks for more room, or whatever the suggestion would be, we then end up having to pull up the carpet and having spots where the stacks are currently being changed. So I think it's a great idea to put some money into the capital fund, and to know that as we move forward on the 5-year plan, we may have some funds there to pull on and start doing some remodeling that we need. So I think it's a good idea, Peter, if you think you can put some money into the capital fund.
You can put as much money as you want. We've got $25,000 over in income or money coming in over, you know, our expenses. So now hopefully this year, you know, we'll clear up and we'll start having programs. We may look at putting more money toward programs.
So what would you suggest as a good amount to put away, but still leaving us with enough money so that we could, you know, revise our program again? And of course, washing the windows would be a fine thing to do. We need to have that done this year. So what do you think?
Well, we could probably, what you can do is take like 15,000 out of the 25 and put that in the capital fund, which would give us like 45,000 in the, what is it, the capital fund? But the only thing, keep in mind too, that if we go asking for more money from the town of Easton or Greenwich, you know, improve, you know, increases, if they start looking at our financials, they're going to see, you know, well, you're sitting on $45,000. Why do you need more money from us? So that's something to keep in mind.
It is, but go ahead, Mary Jane.
I mean, that would be an excellent question for people to ask us. And I think that we have an obligation to some point to save money for our 5-year plan and for our structure. So I think that we have to save when we can and spend when we can. And this just happens to be a year where we could put some money aside. And I do agree with you, Peter. I look forward to the day when we can spend lots of money on programs and get people back in the library and back in Burton Hall. I'm sure people are missing those opportunities, and I'm sure the artists are waiting to have those opportunities too. So if it's best to store those funds somewhere where we can access them for programs, I think that's.
Well, if you took 15,000 out of the 25 and put that in the capital fund, there's money there if we want to do improvement. But it also gives you $10,000 we can put toward programs, which is a lot more than we've been spending. And I've noticed Jennifer is smiling very much when I say spend money on programs. So
yeah.
she's a happy camper.
Yeah.
But we do know we want to go back to offering our community more programs. We also know we need to have the windows washed. We have to buy exit signs and smoke detectors and have them installed. So we do have some building expenses as well that need to be addressed immediately. So can I have a motion then from somebody to put a certain amount of money into the capital fund right now?
I'll motion for
Tell me how
that.
much.
Yeah.
How
do you
How
want-
much do you want to put in here?
Well, I'm happy with the 15,000 to start. I mean, we could always vote to put more in if we find that we cannot use it due to an extended COVID, which I'm certainly hoping we're not going to have to say, but we could do that later. So why don't we take your suggestion, Peter, and do 15,000? What do you think, Patty?
I could transfer 15,000 from our savings account into our capital fund, so capital expense fund. So that's no problem. It's just a transfer of funds.
I would
So
make
next
that.
meeting, so
All right.
we all agree on that. Next meeting, I'll have it transferred over. In fact, this
All right,
week
so
I'll have
I-
it transferred over.
So I heard that Patty made a motion to transfer funds from the saving account to the capital fund account. Can I have a second on that?
Can I second? I'll second.
No,
I'm the
I just had to
treasurer.
get myself unmuted. This is Mary Jane. I'll second that.
right.
Okay, motion made by Patty, seconded by Mary Jane. All in favor? Aye.
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 Okay,
Now, don't forget, we
Go
have
ahead,
to
Peter.
approve the annual report, treasurer's report.
yes, so I'll make a motion to accept the financial report that Peter provided us all with over email. Can I have a second?
This is Mary Jane. I'll second.
Second.
Motion made by Linda Borden, seconded by Mary Jane to accept the treasurer's report. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any other
I do have a
business?
suggestion. If we got extra money, you could always just transfer some money and give money, pay the treasurer. You know,
Oh, yeah.
10,000 a year would be fine.
It's a volunteer
Oh, here's
position.
John.
Peter.
Hi, John.
Hi,
Hi,
John.
John.
Oh, John is on. Yay. Hello, John. Welcome to the meeting.
Hi, Linda. How are you?
I'm good, thanks.
Good.
So let the minutes show that John O'Brien has joined the meeting as well. John, we just accepted the minutes and we moved some funds over to the capital fund from our savings account. As Peter had said in his email, we had some surplus monies due to COVID and not spending with programs like we usually do.
Sure, sure.
And so I'm moving down on the agenda now to the president's report. I wanted to let everybody know that SALS and JA has decided to keep the fees the same for the upcoming year. It was due to be increased, but due to COVID, they're holding them the same. So we won't see a change in the fee. However, it always bounces around depending on how many books we use and how many are checked out. So that may change. I wanted to let everybody know that Sal's just opened a website called fingerprints.sals.edu. It looks pretty exciting. It's people from the community have answered questions about how COVID has affected them, how things have changed in their lives, and they've done a fabulous job on classifying things in many different ways. They thought it would just be of interest to people in our area and only our area would use it, but it's turned into people from across the country logging in. So you can also see where people have come. They even had a response from India. So it's pretty
Incredible.
interesting. Yes, yeah, isn't that cool? So when you go on there, there's all different ways to access the data. You can click on pets, and then you can read everybody's comments on how their pets have been affected or how they've been affected with their pets. Or you can click on education or shopping or health. And, you know, they do it that way. They also do it by a whole person. So if you click on something about pets and you find somebody's done an interesting comment and you want to see the rest of their comments, you can look it up by their name. So I think it's very good. It's fingerprints.sals.edu. The other thing I want to just let you know is I finished the telecommuting policy. I emailed it to all the trustees, and we'll vote on that during new business. And the continuation of operations plan, I also emailed that to everybody, and we'll vote on that during new business. So we're up to the director's report. So Jennifer, you're on.
Okay, hi, everybody. Just before I start my report, I looked at the clock and it is 7:51, and I'm afraid that our Zoom meeting is going to just stop, because I know I've done Zoom meetings in the past and everybody just disappears. So if that happens, I will send everybody a new invitation so we can resume another Zoom meeting. So
Part 2, huh?
part
Okay.
2, yeah. So, all right, I'll try to do this as quickly as possible. There's a lot on my list. So the first thing, I would like to get the disaster plan policy approved. Hopefully everybody saw the PDF that I sent out today. Chelsea worked on formatting the policy today, so it looks prettier. So it's the same content as I sent last week. It's just the appearance was edited over the weekend. So I don't know if everybody got a chance to look at that. So I would love it if I asked for any responses to it, and I did get several. So I tried to do corrections and additions to the responses. And so does anybody have any more comments about the policy? Questions?
No, it looked fabulous. I know it was a huge amount of work.
It was 4 months of work, right, Patricia? Yeah, we had like 6 or 7 meetings, and yeah, it was a lot.
It looks great.
I couldn't believe how comprehensive it was, Jennifer.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It was so, I have to say, it made me very anxious. The more I read, I thought about it when we were doing the financial part, because if you read the disaster policy, you would want to have lots of money on hand, because your
Yeah.
anxiety just builds and builds as you read that. And
Yes.
like, I just ignored the part that said I was the recovery coordinator.
Yeah, just ignore that part.
That's a typo. That will be changed.
I did notice I was something too, and I'm like, I help with that plan and don't recall that. But we'll do the best we can.
That's right. We just needed to fill in the positions, and we can talk about it if and ever we need to use it. It just needed to be done, and we needed to fill in the gaps. So it's up for discussion.
Well, I think that some of the things you had to include in there, won't be necessary for us, but there are some very good information in it if it does become necessary. Handy phone numbers, procedures, like Mary Jane said, I became anxious when I read, what if there's a fire? What do you have, what do you do? I mean, that's always a possibility. We're not immune to a disaster happening. My
Right.
friend who's on the board in Pleasant Valley, they had a huge fire. The whole building was destroyed, and they've been working out of a deserted supermarket. And so they've been going through this very thing. And Mary Jane's right, you know, it costs money, money, money to try and salvage all those books and to restock. So I thought, you know, even though it was so much work, I think I'm very happy to have it in place. And if something should happen, there's a place to look and get information that would be so hard for us to access in a quick, timely manner.
Yes.
So ladies, I think it was wonderful, the work you did on it. I really do. I really
you.
do. I think it's something worthwhile having. I do.
Thank you.
So thank you.
You're welcome. So may I get it approved?
Why don't we do those all under new business, Jennifer?
Oh, okay, sure. Okay,
Will it-
gotcha.
okay.
All right, so moving on. I'm looking for board members to volunteer to choose and install smoke detectors, combination oh my gosh, I'm sorry, I can't speak. Combination carbon monoxide detectors and exit lights for the library. This is part of our disaster plan policy and building code requirements. Jim Merriman visited the library in December, and he went through the library and he told me what was required in each room to bring it up to code. And I have a list to help whoever wants to volunteer to do that. Any volunteers?
So the exit signs will be a little bit more of a challenge than the smoke detectors and carbon monoxide, you know, I'm guessing, because you have to have battery backup.
Yeah, they have to be
Hardwired, I believe, so.
yeah, I think they do, because they have to have that emergency lighting that comes on when.
Yes. So I'm trying to figure out how to fix the one in my office right now, and I might have to actually hire somebody to come in and fix it, because mine actually broke. The plastic just disintegrated and just cracked, and so the one side, the sign just was hanging. Yeah, it's not a big deal, but you know, it's not an easy repair. I mean, at least mine isn't. So,
what about just the smoke and carbon monoxide detector?
Yeah, I mean, how many do you think you need?
It depends on the square footage of the rooms and what the smoke detector combination carbon monoxide detectors say for each room. Jim felt that one for each room was probably sufficient.
Oh, I would think so, yeah.
But I just got a message, our meeting's gonna end in 10 minutes. But
I can talk to you about it at a different time.
Okay, the great room he thought might need 2. The room with the computers in it, because it's so big, the ceilings are so high, it may need 2. So.
Okay.
Would anybody object to us hiring somebody to install to do, you know, come in to do the exit signs and then just.
And to the others while they're there. Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
I think that's fine, Mary Jane. In fact, I was just going to say, John, if you take that on, we really don't anticipate that you're going to do the physical work. Just,
Organize
you know,
it.
help choose what we need and call somebody and set it up.
Yeah, that's okay. I'll just need, you know, maybe a couple ideas on who to talk to about it. That's all.
Okay, yeah. I've got the list of what needs to go where, and
yeah.
You know, so you and I can talk, I guess.
No problem.
It's also a task that I think Jeff Moses might be.
Well, I already spoke to Jeff, and but he has some personal things going on, so I don't want to discuss them on Zoom. But I think right now is a difficult time for him to be doing anything. So.
Well, he came up to my house on Friday to do.
Oh, he did. Okay. Yeah. So I didn't realize. Okay. All right.
as long as I think it's not a involved project, and I don't think this would be.
Okay, all right.
But,
Good.
no,
Because I already did reach out to Jeff and I spoke to him about it, but he said, let's wait until the new year, because I spoke to him in December, and
uh-huh,
at that point he had something going on. So
Yeah.
I was like, okay, we can wait. So,
yeah, yeah.
okay. All right. Sounds good. Oh, and the next thing on my list is we are switching from Verizon to Spectrum with our telephone, because for several years we've had such poor quality service with Verizon. So we are scheduled for an install on Wednesday, and our bill is going to be decreasing. So that's a pro, and we should be able to keep our same telephone number and use our fax, and hopefully we'll have better quality service. Fingers crossed.
Oh, you will.
Okay.
No doubt about that.
I don't know why we waited so long. So
It won't be like you're talking to somebody underwater.
okay, good. Can't wait.
Hopefully.
Yes. And then Easton Library was selected for the Hannaford Helps Reusable Bag Program for the month of January. And every community bag sold at the Greenwich Hannaford store in January, the library will earn a $1 donation. So that's nice. So, and then one of the new things that I did is that I put library card applications on our website for adults and juveniles, so that people, if they're interested in doing online things, they don't have to actually physically come into the library. They can email me or physically snail mail me their applications. They're downloadable, and then we can mail them their library cards. So, which is, yeah, nice.
Yeah, it's excellent.
Thank you. And, you know, I don't know why that thought never occurred to me until I had a patron contact me a couple of weeks ago wanting to get a library card. And then I was like, oh, the bells came on and the wheels started turning, and I'm like, oh, we should do this. So, next thing, Chelsea completed the Stewart's Match application for the upcoming summer reading program. We believe that we're going to have to still go virtual for the summer reading program. So we planned for that, and we are going to do 3 45-minute videos called The Songs Tell the Stories, Music from Guinea, West Africa with Mbamba Bengoria. And if we do not go virtual, then he can come physically to the library because he's located in Saratoga. So keep your fingers crossed that we will receive grant funds from Stewart's. So we'll know in March. So, and then
Sounds like a great program, Jennifer. That'll be a good program.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Annie Miller and I worked on preparing the Greenwich School District proposition for the library appropriations for the budget vote. And signature form is at the circulation desk at the library. So I think everybody has signed it. So thank you for doing that. The annual report portal will be open soon, but so far there's no news on that. So just waiting. Hopefully this week, maybe. And then
Isn't it a little later?
it is. It's
late?
it's
Yeah.
usually the third week in January.
Yeah, that's what.
And then
I think with COVID, everything's a little slow.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then Peter and I are going to attend the annual report virtual party at Sal's Wednesday, February 3rd. So
February 3rd?
yeah, February 3rd at 9 a.m. So
9 a.m.
9 a.m.
Retired guy has to get up early here, you know?
Yep. And then two more things. I received today in the mail, Easton Library did, a letter from Wiley Brothers, and they are retiring and they're going to partner with Curtis Lumber. So that's sad.
Bad news.
Yes. And then I got a letter from the New York State Library Association, and we're members, but they want to know if the trustees want to join as membership. And if we were in person, I would share the letter, but it looks like they're going to prorate the dues to like $50, I think, something like that. So I'll have to scan it and send it to you all so you can look at it. Just so you can.
Or we could vote. I mean, we've belonged in the past, right?
Yes, and this is just membership for the trustees. I think it talks about wanting the trustees to become members.
Isn't that the newsletter that we get?
Well, they're changing the way they do their membership, I guess.
Okay, so why don't you send it to us and we can look at it?
Yes, yes,
Okay.
I will send that.
Thank you.
So you're welcome. So that does it for me.
Thank you,
We're
Jennifer.
still alive.
You're
We're
welcome.
still alive.
Yeah, we're still alive.
Did they
So,
give us more time? Did you get a little notice that?
I did not, no. Remaining
So-
time, we've got 1 minute left.
Wow, Jennifer,
Okay.
you're good.
well, our old business is about internal controls and the financial accountability plan. We were discussing about having how much money our director could spend, and Aaron was going to do some research on that. And due to the fact that he's not at the meeting tonight, I think we'll table that for another time. You all okay with that?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Fine.
All right, so moving on to new business, we are going to vote on policy adoption of the telecommuting policy. Can I have a motion to adopt that policy?
Patricia will.
Patricia, go ahead, Patricia.
I will do the first motion for the telecommuting policy.
And I'll second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Yes.
We also have the continuation of operations plan to adopt, which I sent everybody an email copy of that. Can I have a motion to accept that plan?
Oh,
Okay.
ready.
Okay, so we're back. We are at the second half of the Easton Library meeting for January 25th, 2021. We had just started our new business when we lost the Zoom meeting. So we'll take up our new business to make sure that we did not lose anything in the recording of that last couple of minutes. We were discussing the telecommuting policy adoption, and I believe it was Patricia and Mary Jane. Patricia, can you make that motion again, and we'll accept that telecommuting policy, please?
Yes, I make the motion to accept the telecommuting policy.
And I second that motion.
So motion made by Patricia, seconded by Mary Jane. All in favor of adopting the telecommuting policy?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Okay, the second portion of our new business is to adopt the continuation of operations plan. That plan was emailed to all the board members for review. Any questions or comments on that plan? Somebody make a motion to adopt that plan, the continuation of operations plan.
I make a motion, we accept continuation of operation plan and approve it.
May I have a second?
Patricia can second that.
Motion made by Peter, seconded by Patricia. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. And the last plan that we need to adopt is the disaster plan. We heard about that and we've all received our copies through email on the disaster plan. Can I have a motion to accept the disaster plan?
I make a
I
motion.
make a motion, we accept the disaster plan.
I'll
I think
second the
Mary
motion.
I think Mary Jane beat you, Peter.
Okay, and then I second the motion, whichever. Take your pick.
Motion made by Mary Jane to accept the disaster plan and seconded by Peter. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
One part of our new business was to discuss the annual meeting. So I just throw that out there for discussion. We need to have the annual meeting. This year, obviously, it's going to have to be by Zoom. So I don't think we need to do anything special. Mary Jane, if you help me out with this, I think the only difference to a regular meeting, if we do this on Zoom, would be to accept trustees and to assign offices or vote on officers.
Yeah, yes. And I just saw in the Eagle this past week that Salem just did their annual meeting combined with a regular meeting. There was a little article about it. So given that we can't be in person, we'll have to do it, and we might want to do it combined with a regular meeting. Who is the trustee that term is up for renewal?
Aaron Gabriel.
Are you aware of that?
I thought it was another year. I didn't realize it was this year.
You think you have another year? Well,
I don't know.
and I'm not sure either. This is not very helpful.
Hold on a second, I can find out.
All right, thank you.
If somebody had the annual report handy, right? It's all right there.
Yeah,
Well, I quickly, as I was leaving the library tonight, I remembered that Linda wanted to know whose term was expiring. So I quickly grabbed the annual report and flipped through it. And I thought that's what I saw. But it was very rushed, so I apologize.
that's okay.
That's okay.
We're not prepared either, obviously. We don't remember. Well, I think Peter was last year.
Yes.
Is that right?
Yes, I think.
No, Pat Ruppel. Pat Ruppel was last year
But
because Patricia.
we had two last year, didn't we?
Oh.
I thought I had a list, but I couldn't find it, so.
I will have to look again.
Well, maybe we can make this simpler. Aaron, if it's you, are you willing to continue?
I think it's time for me to let someone else do it.
That makes it difficult for us, Aaron. Okay.
I mean, I realize it's nice to make a suggestion for someone to take your place. So I could be wrong. I'm probably wrong because my memory is horrible, but I thought it had another year, so I wasn't
I know, even,
diligent.
yeah.
Who would replace?
I'm gonna go look in my files and see.
I think this is the trouble when we have such long terms. We can't remember.
Yeah, 7 years is quite a while.
It is, but it also seems to go very quickly before you figure out what's going on and how you can contribute. It almost seems like the time's flown by.
Yeah.
So Aaron, while Mary Jane is checking on that, I'm going to skip back to old business. We had discussed last time what we might do about our financial accountability, and if we wanted the director to have more of an ability to spend money without having to come to the board. You were gonna see if you could check into that, and I tabled it since you weren't here to let us know if you'd had a chance yet to do that.
I hadn't. I was going, remind me what I was going to look into.
Okay, it was the question about if we want our director, whoever he or she may be in the future, how much ability to spend money up to a certain figure, or have it tiered up to a certain amount. They can do it on their own, and then if it's more than that amount, to maybe have the treasurer's approval, and then if it's a great deal more than that, have the full board have to approve it, or whether you want to give the director carte blanche to spend any amount of money as long as it's in the budget. So that was basically our discussion.
Yeah.
And, you know, we know that different libraries and different organizations do it different ways. And we wanted it to tailor it to what we felt comfortable with, and also the monies that we feel comfortable with. I had read some in the past, but they have huge budgets. So, you know, the director might have the ability to spend $30,000 without checking with anybody. But of course, their budgets are much greater. So it wasn't like we could just copy somebody else's plan.
Right.
Mary Jane, any luck on your search?
Well, Darren came on the board in 2013, but that was to serve the 1 year remaining in Rod Waterworth's term. So then he started a whole new term in February of 2014. So 7 years from that, he would have 1 more year, correct? So I'm trying to figure out whose term came to an end in.
So 7 years would be 21.
Yeah. I guess I am up.
Oh, he'd be up. You'd be up for re-election then, Aaron.
No, but he wouldn't have served 7 years, right? It would be the end of
If he
20.
started in 14,
That would
7
be-
years is 21.
Mm-hmm.
But 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Okay, yes, okay. So he served full 7. So you've served 8 years, Aaron?
Yes, I guess so.
Sounds like a prison sentence, the way you said it, Mary Jane.
Service.
Mhm.
There was a little bit of regret in there.
So Aaron, why don't you take some time to think about it?
Well, it's just like this. I mean, I enjoy being on the board, but I guess my mind is torn in different places, so I don't feel like I put as much effort as I should into this, you know, and it's not justice for you folks or for the library. I mean, I think I help out better by shoveling and pulling weeds, you know.
Oh, you're sweet.
I could be your official weed puller.
You're sweet.
No, that's not true, Aaron. Certainly, being the secretary is a big job.
Yes, it's very
step-
important.
It is stepping forward when we need things done, physical, like you have done, doing research and finding out things for us. You know, you really do a lot.
You do a lot in your perspective from your career and your position in the community, I have found to be really helpful, your insight into things.
And think about the programs that you've put on and held. Oh my gosh. I know the chicken program was like one of the biggest draws that we've ever had.
Who would have thought?
I know.
But it's true. Yeah, you knew what we needed. So definitely, you know, Mary Jane's right. Your insight is very well appreciated. Your calm discussion of issues, I always appreciate. So you contribute greatly. So don't think that you're not contributing. You certainly do.
Okay.
So
Well, I appreciate that. I will, I'll get back to you soon.
okay. And if Aaron is going to not renew his 7-year commitment, then we need to find a new trustee. So we would need a search committee. Do we want to take up that? How do we want to handle this? It's so very hard with Zoom and without being able to get together. So any suggestions I'm open to how to handle that if we need to.
Well, there's a part of me that wants to be open to, since this is such a strange year and Aaron thought he was going to be on one more year. Like, let's make some sort of contingency plan that Aaron's term is extended 1 year due to COVID, COVID circumstances, and we'll revisit this when we can recruit people in person. And I just can't imagine like trying to put this together during this time when we can't even be together. I don't know if other people are going through that in other libraries, and I don't know how much, exceptions that we can make, but that's the first thing that comes to my mind. Aaron, we're going to put you in a little time machine, and you're going to stay on until 2022. Because you weren't about that, right?
Well,
You were thinking you were, I don't know if we can do that, but since you were already thinking that you had 1 more year left.
well, let me try to brainstorm about a replacement and see where we go, what we can come up with. I mean, it doesn't have to occur at
the time constraint is the problem with the COVID not being able to get together. The annual meeting should be held. Well, we usually hold it around Super Bowl, and then the last couple times we've stretched it into February.
Last year we held it last year it was March 5th.
Yes.
Okay. So, and that was a stretch, wasn't it? We keep stretching it.
Well,
in 19, it was March 10th.
well, you're not going
Okay.
to get much of a director's report if I haven't even started the annual report yet. So,
That's true.
I have,
And that's due in April.
okay. So
That's due April 1st, right, Jennifer?
I think that's what you told me. I have not heard
I think that's what
anything.
sounds.
I have not heard anything from Diane Winter about when it's due, but that's what you told me.
Okay. I'm pretty sure that's what they announced on our Zoom meeting. So when do we want to hold the annual meeting then? This all ties into needing a new trustee or Aaron making his decision. Do you want a March annual meeting?
March sounds good.
I don't even have a calendar close by, but March is, I think, the soonest that we could even consider it, given.
And don't forget, we have to have another board meeting to approve my annual report also.
But your annual report won't be done until when, Jennifer?
I
I
can't
mean, the
tell you. I haven't even started it yet, so I can't.
Yeah, at this point, we can't even start it because the portal isn't open yet.
The portal's not even open. Yeah.
Right, but I'm
So they
thinking,
better
if
give
it's-
us extra time to do it since they won't let us have a portal.
I think last year we approved the annual report. It was like maybe the last Monday in February, so maybe the first Monday in March. I mean, or maybe the second Monday in March. It depends on, because we're actually almost 2 weeks behind now, because we usually start at the third week in January, and here we are. It's like the last. Well, we're a week behind, right, Peter? I'm trying to think.
Yeah, it looks,
Yeah, we're about a week
at
behind.
this point, at
Yeah.
least a week behind.
Yeah.
okay, so,
I found the calendar. I suggest, this is just a suggestion, that we hold a board meeting on March 8th and have a combination of a board meeting to approve the annual report and do the business of the annual meeting at the same time, or following the board meeting, or I mean,
Yes.
the annual, we could have an annual board meeting, which includes the review of the annual report from the director, review of the annual financial report from the treasurer, and the business of a new trustee or continuation of a current trustee term, and the assignment of officers. Could we accomplish that all on March 8th?
it's up to Jennifer with the annual report. Is that going to give you enough time, do you think, Jennifer, to get the report done?
I'm hoping we can always change the date if I can't. I mean, we can put it on the calendar, and if it's not doable, then we'll just have to readjust it.
Okay, because as you said, it'll depend on when they open that portal and you can even begin.
Yes.
And
So,
yeah,
so this is the other thing. Now it's COVID, and we're going to have to make, I guess, I have to do a written report. So I guess I can do the written report after the annual meeting and put it on the website. But I don't know how long it's going to take Jack to help me do. Usually he helps me do like a visual of the annual report. So, I'll try to get my act together and see if he can help me do that by March 8th. It all depends on how, quick it's done. So,
Do you think, because of COVID, do you think if we have a recorded meeting and we just review the items on your on the annual report that you submit to the state or to the system, do you think you have to do an additional annual report?
well, I know that one has to, I don't think the written report has to go through approval. I don't think that, as far as I know, I don't think my written report needs to be approved. I just
Right.
know that I need to do one, and it has to be on the website. That's the
Okay.
two
Okay.
requirements. So I don't think,
Okay.
I think the state likes to have it done with the annual meeting, but this year it's a different kind of crazy
Right.
situation. So I don't think they're gonna, I mean, how can they penalize us as long as we,
Well, given that, let's give you more time. Well, given that, let's not box
Well,
you.
Doesn't doesn't the annual report have to go through Sal's? When we finish it up and do all the numbers, has to run through Sal's and has to be approved by Diane, correct?
It does, and but that's never played into our annual meeting. As long as we've approved the report. See, Diane usually looks at it and she comes back to us and says, you need to fix A, B, and C between Peter and I. She'll tell us where we need to make corrections. And then she usually says, okay, you're good. And then she'll send it off to New York State, and that's all we ever hear. So I think that we approve the annual report before she even does that. I think we just get to a point where we just approve it by the board, and we say, okay, here's the report, we need to approve it, and then it goes to her.
Yes, before it even goes off, right?
Yeah.
And I guess I'm confusing the mix because I'm just thinking about how that particular report is where you pull out your statistics to share in the annual meeting report, right? And then you're saying that you're obligated by requirements now to put that on the website.
Yes, yes.
And you would like to have that completed before we gather.
I don't have to.
But it sounds like you'd like to, right? It makes sense.
I would, yeah. But I don't have, I've never done this before, so I don't know how long it's going to take me.
So I think it's too early. I'm sorry that I rushed ahead and threw out a date because I don't think that's.
Oh, don't worry about it. That's all right.
We can just wait to see when the portal opens and.
Well, do you want to, what's the next couple of dates that we have?
I mean, we could say it's due on April 1st and we could meet the first Monday of April.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay. Is that April 1st is a Monday?
No, I haven't turned to April yet. It would be April 5th.
April 5th. Wow, that's almost a whole entire month. Oh my goodness.
Oh, wait a minute. I just realized something though. The annual report has to be approved before it's submitted. And if the submission date is April 1st, we have to meet before to approve it. So you can submit it by April 1st.
That's true. We do have
Okay.
to have, that's true. Yes. So we do have to have a meeting to approve the report. So
Yes, but we could have it at the end of March. Push it towards the end of March.
Well, March 22nd.
March 22nd.
That gives us another week if we have to, you know, we're not all set.
Okay, March 22nd.
22nd is a Monday.
Okay. Okay.
All right. So, Aaron, I would ask that you let us know what you're thinking about your position. If we're going to meet on March 22nd, we'll either be reappointing you or needing to have somebody else appointed to take your place, or extending you for 1 year if we can legally figure out how to do that. So if you would think that over and let us know, we'll give us some lead time so that we can take action. We'll know and be ready for March 22nd, okay?
Yep, I can do that.
All right, thank you. Any more discussion about this annual meeting, annual report? Right now we have it scheduled for March 22nd.
Oh, Linda.
And yeah.
Excuse me. I will ask at the annual report party about that approval for the report, because in my mind, I'm thinking we're going to have to do that in February, but we might have to just have another meeting, just a short one, to approve the annual report. but I will let everybody know. So
Okay.
I'll ask at the report party.
Okay. I think it depends on when it's due, right?
Well, I know Diane wants everybody to have their reports in so she can look at them. And I think that April 1st is the New York State deadline. So
Oh, not our deadline.
that are the states, yes.
Okay. All right, so you let us know what you find out. That's a good idea,
Okay,
Diane.
We have-
Very good.
we have 10 minutes.
Okay, well, according to my minutes, we have gone through the agenda now and we're ready to adjourn unless there's any other business that anybody'd like to discuss before we do. Hearing none, can I have a motion to adjourn the meeting, please?
I'll make a motion, we adjourn the meeting.
And seconded by,
Patricia will second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So at this
Good night.
time, the meeting is officially closed, and Jennifer, you can stop the recording of the meeting.